G'day everyone, welcome to my 15th I think video, possibly the 5th one for the year, not sure, first one for February, we know that for sure. I'm getting in a little earlier than usual because I want to watch the Super Bowl this afternoon, so I thought I'd get this done now and get it uploaded, and it's done. I've got it out of the way, keep to my Monday schedule. Don't have a whole heap of stuff this week. There's no haul. There is one parcel on its way. I have paid for Farmhouse Christmas, but I haven't had a shipping notice yet, so that definitely is going to be delayed starting in my rotation. So I'll show you what has happened over the past week and explain what's going to happen this week. If you've not been here before, welcome. I'm doing a 40-day rotation, 4 days a project, and I've got 8 projects and two free slot sessions in my rotation. Okay, so when I left you last week, just move slightly closer. Actually, no, I have a finish. I think I said last week I'm hoping to have a finish, a small, and I have. My project 8 was meant to start on Friday, I think. Monday, Tuesday, yes, because I only showed you a little bit of Lucy on last Monday. So project 8, which is Farmhouse Christmas, was meant to start on Friday, but it's not here yet. So I decided to do a Christmas small. And originally I was going to do a prairie schooler. I was going to find one of the prairie schoolers from one of these editions. But I kept going back to a different one, which initially I thought was prairie schooler, I have to say. But it isn't. It's a little small by, I didn't pull the piece of paper out. I think they're called Blue Ribbon Designs. And this is what I did on probably a 28 count natural linen. There's a lot of firsts in this project. It's the first finish of 2018. It is the first time I've substituted colours, which I'll come to in a minute. It's the first stitch from stash. Everything I already had. It called for weeks dye works threads, and I didn't have the colour that they wanted for these branches along the sides, which was holly, Weeks Dye Works holly, and I substituted it for Crescent Colourworks spinach, and I actually think it looks quite good. The other thing I substituted was the antlers and the tree trunks up there and there. It was Weeks Dye Works chestnut was what it called for, and at the time I was looking through my stash of overdyed threads. I didn't have it, so I substituted it for hickory sticks. When I then was tidying up some other bags of floss, I found Weeks Dye Works chestnut, but I'm more than happy with what I've chosen there. It shows up really well. And the other first, if I can get in without making you seasick, is, trying very hard to be still, that thing and that thing and that and all the other similar ones are Smyrna crosses. I didn't register when I read the information and I looked at the chart that there were Smyrna crosses on this here little thing. So I got to practice with Smyrna crosses. These ones are one strand, and initially I was like, okay, but they're actually okay. They're just obviously meant to simulate falling snow. But I was thinking, Blackbird's Designs basket of cherries needs Smyrna crosses. Those aren't going to fill the thing very well, so I was a little bit concerned about that. but I'll come to that in a minute. I'm jumping around a little bit. So there we go, there's my finish. I had hoped to fully finish it yesterday, but none of the Christmas fabric that I have in my little meagre stash of fabric matched this. It wasn't going to work. So I will just put it away in the drawer for now, and eventually I'll get some Christmas fabric. But I've got 5 of their designs. There may be more, but that's what I've printed off. There's one in the 2011, I think. This is from 2012. I've got a hard copy of 2013. There's one in there. I don't have 15 and 16, so I don't know if there's any in there, but there's one in 2017. So I think probably I will do these over the course of the year. I really like them. It took me 2 days. It probably would take a day if I actually wanted to stitch for that long. But yeah, 2 days and it was done. So I'm really pleased with that. That's my first finish. Then, so when I did my video last week, I was just starting Lucy Calcutt. And I'm doing this with a whole lot of other people. There's a Stitch Along group on Facebook. And I think when I showed you, I literally had a corner, possibly a bit of green, but the pink outline. And there is a guide in the Stitch Along group, which part 1 is this whole top row. But once I actually read the book, I realised page 1 is like this. And I decided I would just work on the pages rather than follow the guide in the group. So that's what we're aiming for. And this is what we have achieved. Such a big piece of fabric. So I am doing this on a 32 count light exemplar, which is the called for fabric, and I'm doing it in the DMCs, and it is very pretty. Very pretty. So I think this is as far as the page goes, as maybe just a wee touch over there, but that's pretty much the end of the first page. And this is the extent of the down this way on the page, and there's a couple of motifs here to do. I tried to work on it at night, one night watching some cricket, and my setup isn't any good to work at night at the moment, so I'll just work on it during the day. So that's really sweet. I'm really happy with that. So that was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Friday I did the little Christmas finish, Friday and Saturday. So then yesterday, when I realised I couldn't fully finish it, I started working on some of my other things. So pretty much basically this whole week will be a bit of everything, except Orchard Valley Quilting Bee, which starts again on Saturday. I think tomorrow the free slot is meant to start, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, yeah, so Saturday is when Orchard Valley Quilting Bees, it's meant to start again, so I won't work on that because it's due to start. So each of these days I'm just going to pick out a project and do a little bit each day. So, and my first thing that I worked on, because I had fresh from Smyrna Crosses, I decided to go back to this and get this finished. This whole basket, all the light bits that you see in the basket are all Smyrna Crosses. And there's some satin stitch in the little berries there, that one I think, and maybe that one, I can't remember now. So when I showed you this at the end of the last time I did it, I still had the Smyrna Crosses to do, I had the satin stitches to do, and I had the basket and a little bit down here to do, and filling in between the cherries. And I have managed yesterday, maybe even Saturday and yesterday, I'm not sure now. No, I think it was only yesterday. I have finished block 1. And there are my Smyrna Crosses. Aren't they pretty? It really does make the basket, I have to say. For freaking out when I realised I had specialty stitches, I am really quite pleased with how they've turned out. And the instructions for this was 2 strands of thread to do the Smyrna crosses. The one thing though that it said in the booklet in here was to do 2 strands of thread over 4 strands of linen. And I thought, well, that's not going to work because each square is 9 squares. And when you look on the front, the whole square is filled in. So I basically improvised and did it over the 9 squares, which I'm assuming is what you're meant to do. I just think the instructions throw you a little bit. But they are easy peasy to do. Sam in the wire wrapper, my needle, easy as, not a problem, you'll be fine. My satin stitches are less impressive, I feel, but they're done. I'm not going to stress about it. In fact, looking at them today, they're not so bad. When I was looking at them the other day, I was thinking, you know, they could be better. But I just love this, really love it. So I'm looking forward to starting number 2, which I will do, it'll be sometime towards the end of next week. This is project 4, maybe not project 3. So anyway, that is done. Block 1 is done, and I think I worked out that in total, it wasn't completely back to back, it's 5 days of stitching to get block 1 completed. So there's other thing I worked on. This is what block 2 will look like, and that's all from what I noticed in the chart, all cross stitch. There's no specialty stitches in this one, and I'm hoping this will be done in the 4 days. I can't see why it shouldn't. It looks relatively simple to do. So that's that. And then yesterday and this morning I worked on my Quaker. I don't have a photo to show for it. It's the Quaker in 6 parts. If you search Pinterest, if you search Facebook, you'll find it. So when I left you last time, I had just started on this. So I finished that, and I've done this little element down there. And I probably won't actually do any more of this now until it comes up again in the rotation. In the interests of keeping it real, there is a boob in the this here, and it's out by 1 stitch on one side, so I actually have fudged it. I haven't gone around and unpicked every single stitch. I've just fudged it, and I think by the time everything is filled in around it, you won't even realise that there's a slight off in it. So that's coming along nicely. So I will, as I said, I will put that away now until it comes up. And I will do, this afternoon when I watch the Super Bowl, I was thinking I will probably work on Santa's Village, the house on Santa's Village, because that's fairly much just filling stuff in. And then each of the days I'll just pick out another thing and do a little bit of stitching on each thing, each project, until the whole rotation again starts on Saturday. And so when I film next week, I'll have a talk about how I found this first cycle of 40 days. And hopefully Farmhouse Christmas will arrive relatively soon. The only other thing that I wanted to talk about today, I've seen a few people, most recently, and I'm slightly behind in her videos anyway, Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts was showing a clear square template to start your stitching. And I'd seen that a wee while ago. Someone else showed it, or it was on Facebook or something like that. And I really quite liked the idea of that, just a really easy way of getting going. But when I looked into it, while it was a pittance to buy, to have it post-stitched in New Zealand was absolutely ridiculous. So I have made my own. This is my most commonly used one. Put it up the right way? It's the right way to read it anyway. So that's a 3-inch square, and I've just notched one of the corners just to make it easy to see where I'm going. So all I do, and I typically work with the 3-inch, is I just put my 3-inch square at the corner of my fabric and I start stitching from here. So I've made a 3-inch, I've made a 2.5-inch, specifically because I understand the fabric that I have got for Farmhouse Christmas. If you do it in one piece with a border, you've only got a 2.5-inch allowance. So I've made a 2.5-inch and I've made a 2-inch for my smalls, which may or may not be the right thing, but until I put them together I won't really know. And I just keep them in my little box beside with all my stitchy things, my spare needles and batteries for the light on my magnifier. And as I say, easy, just get it out, stick it on, and away you go. So I have a feeling that is all I have to say because I've got no other show and tell. So it's a nice quick video this week. It's nearly lunchtime here on Monday in New Zealand. The Super Bowl is going to start in the next hour and a half or two. I'm not sure exactly what time it kicks off. And I'm going to watch it. I have no idea who I'm going to cheer for. Possibly the underdog. I quite like the idea that the Philadelphia Eagles haven't had a major win, or haven't even won the Super Bowl for, I don't know, something like, they said 50 years, I think. Don't know. So I might go for the underdog. I'll see. But regardless, I'll just watch it for the spectacle that it is. So anyway, I shall love you and leave you. There'll be lots of different projects to see next week because there'll be a bit of everything. And I shall review the rotation next week. And I will have some haul next week because hopefully that will arrive this week. But probably won't be Farmhouse Christmas because I haven't had a shipping notice, and I'm sure they send a shipping notice. I need to follow that up. Okay, I haven't watched a lot of new FlossTube lately, so I haven't seen any newer channels. I'm just catching up. Having spent the month of January on Netflix, I'm behind on a few of my channels, so I'm just catching up with those at the moment before I start looking for some new people to watch. So I shall head away. I've waffled. I've managed to add another whole minute of waffle. I shall leave you. I'll go and get organised, and I will talk to you next week. Have a good week, everyone. Bye bye.